Welcome back to today's Explainer. We're diving into a highly analytical, match-by-match breakdown of the three massive round of 32 knockout matches happening on June 30th. The stakes absolutely could not be higher as these teams fight for survival in the 2026 World Cup, and we're going to break down exactly how these games will be won and lost. Let's get into it. Here is our match day schedule for today. We have Ivory Coast taking on Norway, France facing Sweden, and a massive showdown between co-hosts Mexico and Ecuador. Starting with match number 1, Ivory Coast versus Norway. This is all about midfield might going up against Nordic firepower. Now, this is a truly fascinating clash of styles. It directly pits Ivory Coast's incredible ability to just choke out space in the center of the park against Norway's absolute reliance on Martin Ødegaard feeding their star striker. Ivory Coast brings this physically imposing, sturdy midfield and some seriously dangerous wingers who excel in one-on-one situations. But they have to watch out for Norway's sheer firepower up top. At the same time, Norway really has to protect a defense that we know is susceptible to pace, especially after they gave up 4 goals to France earlier in the group stage. Think about this number for a second. 1.00. 1 goal per 90 minutes. That staggering stat represents Erling Haaland's freakish physical power, allowing him to basically average a goal a game. He converts high-danger chances at a rate virtually unmatched in world football right now, making him the ultimate target man that Ivory Coast literally has to neutralize if they want to survive. When these teams take the pitch, this game is going to be decided in the engine room. Keep your eyes locked on Ivory Coast's Franck Kessié going up against Norway's elite creator, Ødegaard. Kessié brings an elite 88% pass completion rate and is just exceptional at shielding the defense. He's going head-to-head with Ødegaard, who routinely ranks in the 99th percentile for progressive passes in Europe. Also, watch out for Sebastian Haller, who's going to use his exceptional hold-up play to be the focal point for the Ivorian attack. So, how do they win? The crucial pivot point here is whether Ivory Coast can successfully cut those supply lines to Haaland. If they can dominate the midfield and use their winger pace to exploit Norway's fullbacks, they have a massive opportunity to prove they're legitimate contenders for a historic deep run for an African nation. Conversely, for Norway, they need Ødegaard dictating the tempo and quickly transitioning the ball into the box, completely avoiding giving up counterattacks to those rapid Ivorian wingers. Moving on to match number 2. France versus Sweden. Frightening pace taking on physical power. We've got a classic David versus Goliath story here, folks. To understand Sweden's survival hopes against the outright tournament favorites today, we have to look at their absolute necessity to execute a flawless low block. Basically, that's a deep, compact defensive strategy designed to completely restrict the opponent's space in the final third. Sweden is going to need an absolute masterclass in this deep defending if they are going to pull off what would easily be the biggest shock of the World Cup so far. And the danger for Sweden is just immense. You have France's transition offense and their unmatched explosive pace directly countering Sweden's lack of overall team speed. Sweden relies on heavy physical strikers, but if they push too far forward, France's transition offense, specifically Kylian Mbappé in open space, will absolutely tear apart a Swedish defense that really struggles against elite quick passing. We saw exactly that happen when the Netherlands badly exposed them. Surveying the expected XIs, Antoine Griezmann will operate as France's hybrid engine. He leads them in expected assists and distance covered, providing that crucial tactical intelligence to tie everything together. On the flip side, Sweden is going to rely on the sheer power and channel running of Viktor Gyökeres, combined with the fluid dribbling of Alexander Isak up top. They showed us their offensive ceiling in a 5-1 demolition of Tunisia, so make no mistake, that two-striker system is incredibly potent. For the keys to victory, France simply needs quick ball circulation to shift that heavy Swedish block around. If they can isolate Mbappé or Dembélé one-on-one on the wings, that defense will eventually crack. Really, France's only true weakness right now is complacency. Sweden, on the other hand, must maximize set pieces to shock the Giants, rely heavily on their aerial dominance, and be totally clinical with the 1 or 2 counterattacking chances they manage to generate. And finally, match number 3, Mexico versus Ecuador. Host nation hopes clashing with a major disruptive force. The psychological stakes at the Estadio Azteca couldn't possibly be higher today. The entire narrative surrounding this match revolves around one phrase, the Quinto Partido. For those who don't know, that translates to the elusive 5th game, or the quarterfinals of the World Cup. It is a massive, historic hurdle for Mexico, and they are absolutely desperate to reach this milestone on home soil, backed by a passionate, roaring crowd in Mexico City.
But standing right in their way is a seriously formidable opponent. We're looking at Mexico's high-energy pressing style going right up against Ecuador's phenomenally athletic and defensively robust midfield. Keep in mind, Ecuador has already proven they can take down top-tier teams by shockingly beating Germany 2-1 in the group stage. Their energetic midfield is perfectly engineered to disrupt Mexico's rhythm, win the ball back in dangerous areas, and silence that hostile crowd.
To really grasp Ecuador's threat level, you just seen this one number, 90th plus percentile. Ecuador's central midfielder Moisés Caicedo frequently ranks in the absolute top tier globally for tackles, interceptions, and pass completion under pressure. He is an elite ball recoverer and is going to be an absolute nightmare for Mexico's build-up play. Looking at the pitch, Mexico's traditional number 9, Santiago Jimenez, will be hunting for those one-touch finishes inside the box. Right behind him, Edson Alvarez has to act as the absolute shield for the Mexican backline, breaking up play with high numbers of interceptions. But they really have to be careful of Ecuador's Piero Hincapié. He's a left-footed center back whose aggressive, line-breaking passing is totally vital for launching Ecuador's rapid counterattacks. So, to advance to that coveted Quinto Partido, Mexico has got to feed off the crowd's energy without losing their tactical discipline. They need to stretch the play wide, force Ecuador's narrow midfield to spread out, and be highly clinical with their crosses. Ecuador, meanwhile, has to weather that inevitable early storm from the hosts, ensure Caicedo wins that critical midfield battle, and hit them hard on the counter with their raw speed. As we look at these three incredible tactical battles on paper, the ultimate question remains, which giant will stumble today and who will survive to march on to the round of 16? From an African squad chasing history to a desperate host nation trying to break a long-standing curse, this June 30th slate literally has it all. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and enjoy the matches.